Safe class. Let's clear something up when the SCP Foundation calls something safe class. It doesn't mean it's a cute little artifact you can keep on your desk. Nah, it just means they've figured it out. They know exactly how it works, how to keep it from breaking loose, and how to make sure no one ends up as monster food by accident. Safe is about control, not comfort. See, the Foundation's whole deal is understanding anomalies. If they know every detail, how it reacts, what triggers it, what not to do, then it's a win. That's when they slap that safe label on it. It's like finally understanding a weird machine after hours of trial and error. Once you get it, you stop panicking and start managing. But here's the fun part. Some safe SCPs are still really dangerous. Like SCP-427, this pendant that heals injuries until it decides you've healed too much and turns you into a pile of living meat. Gross, I know. Then there's SCP-999, basically a happy orange blob that gives out serotonin hugs and makes people feel amazing. Two totally different vibes. Same classification. Why? Because the Foundation knows exactly what each one will do, and that's enough to sleep at night. Think of safe SCPs like that one chill friend who never starts drama. They're reliable, easy to read. And if something goes wrong, it's because someone else messed up. You don't need to babysit them. You just trust they'll stay in their lane. That's what safe means in the SCP world, dependable chaos. Kept on a leash. And honestly, there's something kind of beautiful about that. It's not about pretending danger doesn't exist, it's about mastering it. The Foundation has seen things that bend reality, erase cities, rewrite memories. But a safe SCP, that's the calm in the storm. It's the rare moment where the Foundation gets to say, "We've got this one handled." So, next time you hear safe class, don't picture something harmless. Picture something powerful but contained. The danger's still there, waiting, quiet. And for the SCP Foundation, that kind of quiet is the best sound in the world. Euclid class. If safe class SCPs are the quiet ones that follow the rules, Euclid class is the wild card. It's the person who swears they'll show up at 7 and arrives 3 hours late with no explanation and a weird story. They're not evil, they're just unpredictable. And that's exactly what makes a Euclid SCP so tricky. The Foundation gives something a Euclid label when it's only mostly understood. It behaves a certain way until one day it doesn't. Maybe it changes depending on who's observing it. Or maybe it reacts to conditions nobody can fully control. The point is, it doesn't fit the script. The containment procedures work, until they suddenly don't. A Euclid SCP might be sentient, or maybe it just doesn't care about the rules humans write down. Researchers can set up sensors, cameras, entire rooms of equipment, and still boom, something unexpected happens. It's like trying to track an influencer's mood based on their posts. One day it's motivational quotes, the next it's chaos and cryptic captions. You never really know what triggered it. Take SCP-173, for example, the statue that only moves when you're not looking. On paper. It's simple. Maintain visual contact and it stays still. But one blink, one distraction, and everything goes wrong. That's peak Euclid behavior manageable, but never fully safe. In real life, Euclid SCPs are like that unpredictable friend you care about but can't quite trust to behave. On a bigger scale, they're like political situations that look calm but could spiral with one wrong move. Everyone's watching closely, hoping it doesn't tip over. Philosophically, Euclid is about uncertainty, the reminder that control is never absolute. The Foundation studies, measures, and plans, but anomalies like these always push back. They remind us that some mysteries don't want to be solved, only respected. So when you hear Euclid class, think tension, not panic. These are the SCPs that keep researchers alert, tired, and a little paranoid. Too unpredictable to be safe. Too contained to be Keter, they sit in that perfect gray zone where the only constant is surprise. Keter class SCPs are the Foundation's worst nightmares, the kind that make you question every career choice that led you here. These are the anomalies that don't just break the rules, they speedrun containment like it's a challenge on Twitch. You could build walls thicker than a TikTok influencer's ego, add guards, cameras, and laser grids, and somehow, It still escapes. Keter's treat security systems like puzzles waiting to be solved. Now, labeling something Keter doesn't mean the Foundation is clueless. Far from it. They know what it is, they just know it won't behave. Every day is patch notes and panic. One minute it's quiet, the next it's rewriting physics. It's like trying to fix a buggy video game that keeps updating itself mid-match. You plug one hole, another one opens, and somewhere, a researcher's wondering if this is still part of the job description. Take SCP-682, the hard-to-destroy reptile. This guy has survived acid, explosions, and pretty much every bad idea from the what if we tried this department. It doesn't just live, it levels up. Every attempt to kill it just makes it stronger. It's the final boss that refuses to roll the credits. The Foundation's official stance. We hate it, but we respect the grind. If you've ever seen Jurassic Park, that's the whole Keter vibe. Everyone's calm, smiling, thinking they've got nature beat, and then one tiny power flicker turns the place into a buffet. That's what Keter feels like: confidence until chaos. The Foundation builds fences. The SCPs treat them like a speedrun category. Not all Keters are huge monsters breaking out of containment. Some seem harmless at first, but slowly break the rules of reality. It could start with an anomalous music box that never plays the same tune twice, a mirror that replaces your reflection with someone else's, or a door that suddenly leads to nowhere. Each one looks simple. Yet, together they show how dangerous the small things can be. They don't roar or attack, but they make normal life fall apart. For the Foundation, containment isn't victory, it's survival. Every breach feels like the universe roasting them in real time. They rebuild, replan, and hope today isn't the day everything breaks again. So when you hear Keter class, don't think of a monster locked behind glass. Think of pure chaos with a sense of humor. Smart, stubborn, and just unpredictable enough to keep everyone at Site 19 on edge, checking the alarms and wondering what's next. Thaumiel class SCPs are the Foundation's ultimate plot twist, the rare ones that actually help save the day instead of causing chaos. When everything's burning down and someone in Site Command screams, "We're out of options," that's when a Thaumiel SCP walks in like the overpowered side character who's been waiting for the dramatic entrance. But don't mistake them for friendly heroes. A Thaumiel SCP is like handing your unpredictable friend the keys to a nuclear reactor. It's powerful, useful, and terrifying if it ever changes its mind. Still, when the world's on fire and every Keter is acting up, the Foundation has no choice but to press the Thaumiel button and pray the lights stay on. Take SCP-2000, called Deus Ex Machina. If humanity ever wipes itself out, war, zombies, or a group project gone global, this thing rebuilds civilization from scratch. It's the ultimate backup plan: new people, new world, same old mistakes waiting to happen. Or there's SCP-3000, the giant eel lurking in the deep sea. It produces a substance that makes people forget dangerous stuff. The Foundation bottles it up to clean up public memory after disasters. So if you don't recall that time a cosmic octopus almost ate New York, thank 3000 it wiped your brain like clearing browser history before anyone could panic. Thaumiel SCPs are like that coworker you don't trust but absolutely need when the system crashes. You'd never grab a drink with them, but you'd hand them the wheel if the car's already rolling off a cliff. They fix things, scold everyone, and disappear back into the shadows before you can even say thanks. Most details about them are top secret. Even the researchers working nearby barely know what's going on. And honestly, that's for the best if something can rebuild the world or erase memories. You don't want that info floating around in a group chat. Thaumiel SCPs aren't monsters in cages. They're the Foundation's emergency power-ups. Risky, unpredictable, and barely under control. But when they step in, the stakes are already sky high. If you ever hear one's been activated, don't ask questions. Just know the world probably hit the panic button and somehow, it's still standing. A neutralized SCP is basically one that lost its weirdness. It used to be dangerous or mysterious, but now it's just normal. The powers are gone. The strange glow stopped. The monster's taking a permanent nap. Maybe it broke. Maybe it ran out of juice. Or maybe it just gave up. Either way, the Foundation checks the box. Neutralized. It's a pretty simple idea. Neutralized means the anomaly isn't doing anything unusual anymore. The Foundation doesn't take anyone's word for it. They test it again and again. If it doesn't move, glow. Or scream when it shouldn't. They finally say, "Yep, it's done." It's not dramatic, just relief. Imagine your phone finally stops glitching after weeks, that kind of calm. Why does this matter? Because one less active SCP means fewer alarms, fewer panicking researchers, and fewer 3 a.m. emergency calls. The site gets a breather, the guards relax, and someone finally gets a weekend off. The file stays in the database, though it's still part of the history, a reminder of what not to touch next time. Take SCP-1470, for example. It was a telepathic spider that used to send thoughts into people's heads. Pretty freaky stuff. Then one day, it just died. That's it. No secret ritual, no laser containment battle. The Foundation confirmed the psychic signal was gone, stamped the file neutralized, and moved on. Simple, peaceful, done. It's easy to mix up neutralized and explained. Neutralized means it was weird, but now it's not. Explained means it was never weird to begin with, it just fooled everyone for a while. One ended naturally, the other was solved logically. So, yeah, neutralized SCPs are the calm after the storm. No monsters, no panic, no late-night containment drills. Just a dusty file, a sigh of relief, and a team quietly celebrating that for once something in the Foundation actually stayed quiet. In a world where chaos never stops. That's about as close as they get to a happy ending. Explained. The explained category in the SCP Foundation isn't really a containment class, it's more like a status update that says, turns out, this one wasn't weird after all. These are SCPs that once looked supernatural or mysterious, but later turned out to have a normal, scientific explanation. Once the mystery is solved, the file gets an EX tag and moves off the anomaly list. Here's how it works. Sometimes, the Foundation stumbles upon something that looks impossible, a machine that teleports, a room that bends time, a creature that defies physics. The containment team runs every test, writes up procedures, and sounds the alarms, until one researcher figures it out. Maybe it was a trick of light, bad sensors, misread data, or forgotten tech from an old project. When that happens, the Foundation reclassifies it as explained. The effect wasn't magic, it was just misunderstood science. That's the difference between explained and the other statuses. Explained isn't a true class like Safe, Euclid, or Keter. It doesn't describe how hard something is to contain, it just says it doesn't need to be contained anymore. The weirdness was never real in the first place. For example, imagine a haunted containment room where everyone reported cold spots and voices. The team thought it was cursed, but after a few tests, they found a faulty air vent and echo feedback from the intercom. Mystery solved. SCP-6 became SCP-6CX, officially explained. No ghosts, just bad engineering. That's also how explained differs from neutralized. Neutralized means something was anomalous, but lost its powers like a dead monster or a broken artifact. Explained means it was never truly anomalous. The Foundation just didn't understand it yet. One ended naturally. The other got debunked. Explained SCPs are the Foundation's myth-busted files. They remind everyone that not every strange event is paranormal. Sometimes it's just physics doing physics. It's a win for science, but also a humbling one for the researchers who spent weeks thinking they'd found the next big anomaly. So, if you see explained on a file, it means the world didn't get stranger, it just got smarter. The mystery's gone, the science is solid, and for once, the Foundation gets to close the case without locking anything in a box. Apollyon is the label the Foundation uses when things have gone completely off the rails. It's not just dangerous, it's the kind of unstoppable chaos that makes everyone in Site Command quietly start updating their wills. You can't lock it up, can't shoot it, can't outsmart it. Once something's called Apollyon, the Foundation isn't trying to win anymore, they're just trying to buy enough time to back up humanity like a hard drive before the system crashes. Picture it like this. Imagine a storm that laughs at your defenses. You build walls, drop nukes, even call in your weirdest SCP allies, and it still keeps spreading. Every plan fails, every fix breaks, and the world keeps glitching worse than an old video game. That's Apollyon, the point where containment doesn't just fail, it stops mattering. Take SCP-001. When day breaks, in that story, sunlight itself goes rogue. The second it touches you, you melt into a thinking puddle of flesh. There's no sunscreen strong enough, no underground bunker deep enough. The Foundation's plan basically becomes write this down before we melt. It's grim. But that's peak Apollyon. Or imagine a reality so broken that gravity takes a lunch break. Time rewinds. Oceans float into the sky. The smartest scientists on Earth form a group chat and still can't fix it. At that point, the Foundation stops trying to contain and starts trying to save files. Memories. Anything that proves humanity existed. Apollyon SCPs flip the Foundation's job upside down. Normally, they lock up the weird stuff to keep the world normal. But with Apollyon, the world itself is the weird stuff. Their mission shifts from control to don't die yet. It's less science and more survival. To make it simple, safe is chill, Euclid is unpredictable, Keter is nightmare fuel, Apollyon. That's when the Foundation looks at the camera like a sitcom character and says, yeah, we're doomed. So when something gets labeled Apollyon, it's not about fear, it's about acceptance. Some things can't be contained. Some endings can't be stopped. The Foundation just keeps fighting anyway, hoping the last thing left in the universe is someone who remembers they tried,